Welcome to Community Report. I'm Vicki Pritchard. Joining me in the studio today is Karen Muse. Karen is the president of the Hamilton County Education Foundation, and Dave Distel, who is the superintendent of the Hamilton County Education Service Center. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Dave, we're going to put this first question to you. Tell the viewers about what the Hamilton County Education Service Center is exactly and how it goes about serving our community.
Well, Hamilton County ESC, as we call it, has been around for almost 100 years. We are a public entity, look much like a school district in state law, and historically we provided services that dealt with special education and related services to special ed, as well as curriculum content to the school district's central office. That has changed over the years. We still continue to provide a lot of special education services, speech pathology, school psychologists, occupational therapists, all of those. Our curricular and instructional work has evolved into much more. We now provide services to school buildings for all 22 school districts in the Hamilton County area, and have school coaches. We also do preschool. We run the Head Start program for the public schools, minus Cincinnati Public. So we do a myriad of services for our school districts.
That is a broad and comprehensive scope of services that has evolved over time.
Our mantra is trying to make life easier for the school districts, and so that's what we do.
And I'm sure school districts could use a little help and a little ease every now and then. They have a lot to carry, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Karen, talk about the role that the foundation plays.
Well, the ESC decided 7 years ago to start a foundation, and we're called the Hamilton County Education Foundation. And as we progressed, we decided that what we would like to do is to honor and just really look at teachers and what they do for us and for our students, and just to have a day for them. And we just want to recognize them in a way that makes them feel really special. So we have a breakfast every year at the Sharonville Convention Center. And the breakfast this year is on May 24th. And we have every school district that we work with, and it's 23 school districts this year, will send their representative in, like their teacher of the year, educator of the year, really, because it's not just teachers. It can be any certificated educator. And we will honor them on that day.
And this is your Celebrate Excellence program?
It's called Celebrate Excellence Breakfast. So we've done that for 7 years. This is our 7th year.
Tell me a little bit more about the specifics of who can be nominated and how they go about being nominated.
Well, every school district does their own thing with who they nominate. Some school districts already have a process where maybe the PTA nominates the teacher of the year. Mm-hmm. And some school districts will just have maybe parents nominate. Some have community members who have nominated the teacher or an educator. So it's all different depending on the school district, and we let them select their own, and then they just send that person's name to us, and that's who we recognize at the breakfast. But we don't select out of the 23, we don't select one educator of the year. We don't do that. It's just we recognize all 23 equally.
That's wonderful, and I suppose it's anyone who's been impacted by an educator in some way, as you say, not just teacher, but administrator, the broad scope of anyone.
Yeah, it's any certificated educator. We've had school nurses nominated. We've had occupational therapists, physical therapists. We've had music teachers and art teachers, administrators, school counselors. So we've had a wide range of educators that we have recognized over the years.
That's wonderful, because I'm guessing there are a lot of unsung heroes that this allows you to bring to the forefront.
We actually try to make them feel very special on that day. We have plaques to give them. They're customized plaques that we have made for them. And they are talked about. Each one of them are individually talked about at the Celebrate Excellent event. So I think all of them walk out just feeling extra special that day, which is really that's our intent. We want them to feel good.
Karen, what are some of the things that have been said about the nominees over the course of years? I'm sure you have some real gems.
Yeah, I brought a few with me that I can just read because
Sure.
we end up at the event just reading some of the excerpts from the nomination form. So I brought a few of those from our past Celebrate Excellence events. One of them says, Leslie epitomizes excellence in education. She has the unique quality and ability to connect with all students in every ability range. She brings math to life in her classroom, and students not only see success, they also enjoy learning. She holds herself accountable, constantly reflecting on her lessons so that the material is learned, not just covered. That was about a math teacher. Another one says, Katie helps students build relationships with teachers that last throughout high school and continue into their college and career beginnings. She recognizes the social and emotional needs of students and facilitates many groups that deal with teen issues and concerns. So you can see that, you know, the teachers.
The range.
Yeah, it's
right.
a different, it's a range of what they do and how they're respected even within their own schools. So,
And you're both educators, right?
yes.
What took you to education? How was your journey? How did it play out to choose teaching?
I think for me, I at some point in time I realized I liked working with kids and students and being able to make a change, being able to make a difference in someone's life. And probably as I moved into other parts of the education world, whether it be an administrator or whatever, you started to see, you could see the change. I mean, you could see it. In fact, one of the things I think is hard for many of us in the teaching field is that you really don't get to see the end product. I mean, so if you think about an elementary school teacher, kindergarten, whatever that might be, it's years from the time that you see this first child, and then they end up being an adult as they end up leaving school. So that's really kind of neat to see.
Yes.
And you can see that sometimes when you're a building principal and you can see a student move from kindergarten to the 6th grade or whatever that might be, and you can certainly see it if you've been around in the district long enough. You get a sense, especially if it's a smaller district, you get a sense about what that student was when they came in and what that student is when they leave, and that's
Very
neat.
satisfying,
It
I would
is.
think.
It is.
Karen, what about you?
My educational background is more in the area of guidance counseling.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as I became a teacher, I just noticed that students would come up to me after class or after school even and just pour their hearts out to me. And I realized early on as a teacher that these kids really needed someone in their life. And I immediately went back to get my master's degree in counseling. And that is still, to this day, where my passion is, even though I went on and earned a PhD in administration. And I've been an administrator for a number of years now. But I always looked for something in the administration line that I could do where I still had a passion for people, I could work with people. And when we found out that Celebrate Excellence was going to be one of our events, it just was all about what I like to do and how I like to honor and recognize the field of education, because I, definitely have a passion about it. And I was really lucky to find something like this that we could do every year.
That's wonderful. It's really seeking the positive and rewarding. It
Right.
puts the focus in the right place, doesn't
Exactly.
it? Talk about who do the CE sponsorships. Who do they raise funds for?
This breakfast really is our only fundraising event, and it didn't really start out to be a fundraising event. It was just to honor teachers, and we didn't really care if we made a dime from it. But in the process of putting it together, we decided we did need some corporate sponsors. So we looked for corporate sponsorships with organizations that work directly with schools, and we have a number of those sponsors who, like Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield, they've been a major sponsor every year. We have several banks, PNC, and some that have been on board with us for a long time as well. And Great American Financial Resources, they've been with us for quite a while, and Cincinnati Bell. So we have a number of sponsors that just think this is so valuable to them as well. And so they sponsor the event, and just through their sponsorships, we have been able to make this a fundraiser. The funds we raised really go back to the teachers, because we're able to give them some really nice gifts at the event.
Very
In
nice.
fact, we write a personal check to them now with
Oh,
some
how
of the
nice.
funds.
Which we couldn't do the first time. When we
Right.
first started this, we didn't have enough money in the treasury to give out cash. And so now we actually can do that. We write a check out to them, and it's our hope that someday we can continue to grow that part. They don't have to spend it on their classroom. They don't have to spend it on
They
their...
probably will, right?
Yeah, they do.
I know.
In fact, there's even a part, the reason we have this event on the day that we have it is that it's a long weekend. And we've got an arrangement with the superintendents of the school districts that are represented in that to actually give the teacher the rest of the day off, and then the ESC will pay for it. But quite frankly, what happens is that it's a busy time. The teacher
Right.
they don't take off.
No.
They go back to work in that morning.
Karen, tell us about the scholarships that this event, that the funds that you raise support.
Well, basically, we have 2 scholarships. One scholarship is given to us by the University of Cincinnati Department of Education. And that scholarship is given to a teacher who is currently teaching in a school district, and they would like to go back to school and get a master's degree in special education. And it's not a complete scholarship, but it's a good start to getting your foot in the door for your master's degree. And the university, or I'm sorry, I screwed that up. Xavier University also gives us a scholarship for a teacher that is currently teaching and going back to get a master's degree in special education as well.
In special education, because there's a particular need for that area?
There is
that
a
right?
need for a lot of people in special education, or teachers to go into special ed, because that's one of the areas that right now we still have a hard time finding teachers to fill some of those needs. So that's why we focus on special education.
Dave, tell us about this. Who makes up this special board? Who are these people that give of their time and energy to make all of this possible?
Well, the governing board of the ESC actually appoints the people who are going to be on the board of the foundation. And then once they do that, then they're hands off, so that the board of the foundation is really the group making decisions and helping support the work that Karen does. And so, just so that I don't forget them, I will read their names for
Okay.
you, because I don't want to get in trouble with my board. Robin White, Leslie Kreinus, Steve Hoyt, Adrian James, Larry Johnson, Rick Theaters, John Bryant, and Bronston McCord. And those people either represent aspects of our business community or our education community. If I had time, I could go through each one of those people, what those people do, and people would recognize who they are for what they do. So they've been very supportive of us and have actually helped us mold what started out in a certain way. They molded it into what it is today. So that whole thing that Karen will talk about in terms of Celebrate Excellence was not necessarily where we started, but they helped us think about how to do it differently.
So you brought a team to the table that everyone brings something unique?
Yes, first it was when we had some mentoring done to us about how to start a foundation. They talked about you may want to do friends first so that you can figure that out and they can help you deal with things.
Smart idea.
And then from there we moved on to other people. So this started out as a smaller board. We have increased it because we had the need for other parts of our community to be represented. So.
That's wonderful. And this center, the Educational Service Center, is this something that is unique to Cincinnati, to Hamilton County? Or do these exist elsewhere? Because it seems like such a crucial piece for all school systems to have this kind of support.
We've been around for 100 years.
Right.
We used to be called the County Office of Education, 88 counties in Ohio. There were 88 educational service centers or county offices of education. Some very large, some very small. That has changed over the course of time. There are now 55, and we continue to probably figure out ways to combine and become more efficient. And so you see ESCs merging or doing something different than they used to be. There's also a whole system of educational service centers in the country. So they're called different things in different states. In Ohio, they're called Educational Service Centers.
Okay.
In Texas, they're called Educational Service Centers. In Colorado and in New York, they're called BOCES. They're called intermediate units in other places across the country. So I think at last count, there are about 45 or 48 different states that have something like us.
Something in place that offers this.
Right. And we all do
service
different
recognition.
things.
Okay.
And in fact, what you would find is that even in Ohio, the educational service centers do different things. We kind of do whatever our customers want us to do.
Customers. Now that's an interesting.
That's how we look at our school districts: clients, customers.
Is that new? Is that something that's new? That mindset that we look at them as customers, students are customers, parents are customers.
School districts have been having to do that for some time, I think, with their school district base. The ESCs, probably within the last 5 years, I think the majority of the ESCs now look at their school districts as customers, and it's more than just school districts. So there's a lot of other things and people that we connect with. Then we just do the same thing. Hamilton County's been doing this probably for 20 years. We look at our school districts as customers.
Karen, talk about some of your most memorable moments. Actually, both of you, just weigh in on some of your best memories from past events.
Well, one of the great things about this event is every year Anthony Munoz has agreed to be the MC. He did it the first year because we asked, and he was very passionate about public education. So after the first year, he said, I'm going to put this on my calendar every year, and we are so fortunate that every year he comes back and is our MC for this event. The teachers love having him there. They love having their picture taken with him. So that's always a memorable thing,
sure.
whatever he talks to the teachers about. It's really nice. Also, I think after the event's over, it's the people that come up to you, maybe a husband of a teacher, and says, you have no idea how much my wife deserves this and how hard she works as a teacher, and nobody realizes the work that goes into this profession. And so the people who are married to the people that are getting these recognitions and awards, they realize that it's a very important piece, and they just really are excited that we're finally doing something to recognize the hard work that goes into the profession.
Oh, absolutely. My daughter is a teacher. She teaches 5th grade, and it's staggering the amount of work, commitment that goes into it. You're right. It does take a special person. You must have particular characteristics and be wired a certain way to be successful at this.
And I would echo what Karen said. I mean, the two things she said are absolutely the things that are very memorable. I think the other thing for me, somebody in the audience actually it was one of our board members started this, but at the end of the whole event, right before we dismiss, Karen is up there giving the introduction of each one of the recipients. And at the end of that, and they're all kind of standing on stage, the entire audience gets up and gives them a standing ovation.
It gives
well
you
deserved.
It is. I mean,
Well
it's a
deserved.
choke. I mean, you're kind of choked up because
You are choked up.
and I think they are too. I mean, the recipients are that's the first time they don't get that usually
No, they
in their
don't.
profession.
Teachers do not. They don't have this kind of venue for
And when it's
recognition.
over, you get a lot of cards and
they come
letters
up,
and emails just thanking us for doing it because they've never been recognized before, or it's a really big deal for them. A lot of them too bring with them their parents, or some will bring the person who nominated
is
them,
that
maybe a
right?
peer.
Very
So
nice.
it's really nice the people that come along to see them. Board members come from different school districts, and the superintendent, the principal, all those people come along. So it's really nice to have district representation there as well to see the teachers get their awards. So.
Yeah, that's really pretty neat. All of the superintendents are there, as well as they may bring a board member or other people that are important to that teacher. Usually the building principal, in which that teacher is assigned. That person is there. So it's neat. It's very neat.
So recap again, Karen, the date for this next event.
It's May 24th. It's always held on the Friday prior to Memorial Day weekend.
Okay. Is there a
So-
reason that you
Well,
choose that?
one of the reasons is because it's a very busy time of year
Right.
in education. And so as Dave mentioned earlier, it's a nice time to, if you can, have breakfast with all of these educators.
Mm-hmm.
And our idea in the beginning was let them go home and enjoy the rest of the day leading into a big weekend,
Very
a long
nice.
weekend. But it never works out
They
that way
don't.
because the teachers are so busy and they go right back to their classrooms. So May 24th, and it's at, registration actually starts at 7:30 a.m. The breakfast itself starts at 8, and we are finished by 10. So people love this
You're
event.
so efficient.
Yes.
That's,
It is.
teachers
They
are
like
that.
that.
Educators
People
are
love
that.
the event because it's very
and out.
efficient. You're in and out, and you have a wonderful breakfast. And it's a
celebrating.
great way to kick off the Memorial Day
weekend,
weekend.
It truly is.
Yes, it's great.
Well, for viewers who want to find out more about this, about the event, about the organization, about the center, and make sure I get these right, they can go to your website, which is hcesc.org, or to hcef.us.
Correct.
Correct? And they can find out nomination forms and such are there. Everything is available there.
Everything's on there, but you're welcome to, anybody's welcome to come. It's open to the general public. The breakfast itself is $50, and the money goes to the foundation.
It's a great investment and a great celebration
It is
to
a great
celebrate teachers. I
celebration.
think it's wonderful. Well, thank you both for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Wonderful
Thank
to
you.
have you here and look forward to having you back again.
Thanks.
Thanks.
You've been watching Community Report. I'm Vicki Pritchard. Thanks so much for watching, and please join us again next week. If you're a community leader and interested in being on Community Report, give us a call here at the ICRC 772-4272.